Okay, I want to show you a couple different ways you could look at the data for your region. So from this page, come over to, say, let's go to elementary regions. And say, for example, will be region 1 this time. And you'll see there's that sheet I showed you before in the overview. It brings up the live version of the data, and it kind of tells you up here that this spreadsheet is filtered by region, so it's just showing you the one region. And you can change the spreadsheet tab at the bottom to go between the responses or the question analysis. It also talks about accessing the data in a filterable view, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So if we scroll down here, you can see what it's brought up is elementary 1 question analysis, and you see that's what it shows here, question analysis. These are the tabs at the bottom it was mentioning. This actually gives you a breakdown of how every school for the different years, assuming they applied for different years, answered each of the questions. This is something that was requested before, is to see what were the actual wording of the question and the possible responses. So as you scroll across this one, you can see, for example, this is question 2, what the generic or the general term for the question was. Here's the actual question, and here are the actual responses. This shows that Alkali Creek, for example, in 2011 responded with this answer. Here's another example, Bainville schools, that in 2011 they responded with some experience, and in 2012 they responded with extensive experience. So this is just information available for you to kind of review the different schools and where they're at as far as their implementation. So each of the questions all the way across, there are a total of, I believe it is 7 pages or 6 pages. Page 5, 6, 7, page 7 has the last 2 pages, 7. And you notice I'm looking up here, page 7, question 1. That's the general area. So that's one way to kind of take a look at it. And notice you can switch that over and take a look at the responses. It will load those up. That's a complete listing of all the responses as they came in just for that region, again filtered by that region. You'll notice that here that it's only region 1, but it gives you the contact information, what their implementation level is, and as you scroll across again, it gives you the answers for everything. It's just a little bit more jumbled up and not as easy to read, so hopefully that question analysis is what you're looking for. You also have a view called pivot table, and right now that's set up just to show you for region 1 what schools during different years are at what implementation level. So again, here's that example. Bainville was at implementing A in 2011, and now they're at exploring B in 2012. So don't know if that makes sense as an example. Maybe that's a red flag for you, saying how did they go from implementing to exploring? It should be the other way around, I would think, but a good overview of the data, quick view. And I'm going to talk more about this pivot table in a future tutorial as we look more at how you can analyze this data. So from this same page, however, there's this filterable view. All right, if you click on that, that will actually open up another page for you. And it's a different view of the same data, elementary region 1 data, and there's those question analysis and the responses in the pivot table, but it's in what's called a list view. And this is kind of handy because it can allow you to sort by any of these questions, by any of the column fields basically. So for some reason you might have a desire to look for schools that responded to a certain question a certain way, or perhaps maybe you're just wanting to do a quick view of implementation levels. You could come up here and sort this data. Just pull this up and say I want to see just all of the sustaining schools, and so you'd sort it by sustaining. And in this case there was only one sustaining school, and it just quickly sorts that. Let's try a different one. Let's go to exploring B, see how many schools we get. Exploring B schools, you have a few more of them, so you can also do multiple filters. So maybe I wanted to see the exploring B schools, but that were also only in the Gallatin County area. I could add a second filter, and it's showing that there were none. So that didn't quite work. So I can come back up to here and say all. I could sort by any other piece of data in here. Maybe I wanted to say exploring B, but just the schools for 2012. It would show me exploring B for 2012. So kind of any way that you might want to look at the data, I think I've set it up so that it's possible for you to filter the data in that way. As far as the filtering, it's probably most useful in this responses view. The question analysis view, probably not so